Hello there, and thanks for watching the third and final part of the Moto HINT review. After spending 3 weeks with the device using it every day, and with a variety of different hardware, I'm ready to give my opinions on what the device is and what it isn't. First and foremost, the Moto HINT and the Moto 360 do not equal glass. At first, I thought the glanceable notifications of the Moto 360 combined with the voice activation of the Moto HINT would give me an experience very similar to Google Glass. And while they do overlap in some areas, the Moto HINT isn't trying to change the world. It's just trying to keep you connected to it. I found that the volume of the Moto HINT was almost always good enough, with the exception being if the ear that I had my Moto HINT in was pointed toward a source of audio, such as a loud conversation or a speaker playing music. Under those circumstances, I had to cover my ears in order to hear the conversation. As far as the other side of the conversation goes, I found that placement in my ear had a lot to do with how the other person hears me. If I placed it in my ear how it was most comfortable to me, the microphone that is right here was blocked by part of my ear, but I found if I turned it down slightly, that the audio that was picked up came through much better on the other end, but it wasn't quite as comfortable for me. So this brings up the question, what types of people will and what types of people won't enjoy the Moto HINT? First up is the demanding user, the type of person who uses a Bluetooth all day. Their job or choice of personal activity requires them to be hands-free. And if they're spending $150 on a Bluetooth accessory, they demand performance. For these folks, the Moto HINT scores a 6.5 out of 10. For folks who are used to wearing a Bluetooth accessory all day, the battery life would be a deal breaker, with the battery only lasting around 3 to 4 hours between charges. Another problem is that the voice activation illuminates the display. And even though this is a problem more on the phone side, it doesn't make it any less of a potential issue. I found that after issuing a voice command, my leg would sometimes touch the display and cause things like moving of widgets or the deletion of an item from my display, even calling someone once due to the phone being unlocked in my pocket. I find myself hoping, though, that a software update can make that one less pain point in the future. And finally, after wearing it all day, it has a tendency to make your ears sore. At first I thought it was because I wasn't used to wearing Bluetooth headsets, but then as the weeks went on, I never really got used to it. But depending on how you look at it, it could be a small price to pay for a device that is so small and so discreet and so well hidden in your ear. Next up is your average everyday user, the type of person whose world doesn't revolve around a device. They don't have huge expectations of technology, but at the same time, they don't want to fiddle around with settings and configurations. They just expect it to work. For these folks, the Moto HINT scores a slightly higher 7 out of 10. Again, battery life is a potential issue here. But in addition to that is the fact that a separate item must be carried around to even charge the device. Add to that if you're not carrying around a Motorola phone, there is a lot of additional configuration that needs to be done to get the most out of the Moto HINT. I spent a lot of time configuring things in apps like Tasker, in which the average everyday person wouldn't even touch, just to get the phone to operate to my satisfaction while paired with the HINT. The reason that this score is a little higher is that the Moto HINT really is very easy to use. After initial setup, you literally take the device out of the charger and place it into your ear, and it connects right away. No hassle, no buttons. And finally, we have the power users. The power users already know who they are. They love new technology because it's exciting and fun to use, and not because it's always perfect. For the folks who want a really forward-thinking accessory to go with the latest and greatest, this scores an 8.5 out of 10. This is a very awesome little device that's a ton of fun and very versatile if you have the time to tinker around with it. The fact that they pack so much technology into such a little device is absolutely amazing. And I am quite frankly impressed at the fact that it can last 3 hours, considering the size that it is. And even though the review is over, I plan to continue experimenting and tinkering with the Moto HINT just to see what else I can get it to do. Hopefully you found this 3-part review helpful in making a purchasing decision of the Moto HINT, and if you have any specific questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching.